Ever find yourself staring at a menu and trying to remember if that pad see ew was like $1 cheaper last week?
Yeah.
You might be subconsciously noticing the whole DoorDash effect.
Right.
But today's deep dive isn't about satisfying those late night cravings.
No.
We're flipping the table, right? Looking at DoorDash from the perspective of you, the restaurant owner.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be arming you with the inside scoop on DoorDash fees and commissions in 2024. So think of this as your crash course in maximizing profits when it comes to DoorDash and understanding if partnering with them or sticking with them is the right move for your business.
Yeah, because let's be honest, those delivery apps, they can feel like a double-edged spatula. Convenient, but potentially cutting into your bottom line. So we're going to dissect exactly what you give up to gain access to all those hungry DoorDash customers.
Yeah, and it's a lot more complex than I think most restaurant owners realize. The fees associated with DoorDash aren't just a simple percentage. It's a whole multi-layered system. You've got commission fees, you've got service fees, and then you've got those tempting marketing add-ons that seem like a sprinkle but can really add up faster than you expect.
It's like that guac we were talking about earlier.
There you go.
Small on the side, but suddenly you're forking over a small fortune.
Exactly.
So how about we break down this fee maze with a real-world example? Let's say you're a restaurant owner and a customer places a $50 order through DoorDash.
Okay, $50. So a decent order coming in. First, we've got the commission fee. This is essentially DoorDash's cut for being the middleman in this whole transaction. Now, this is where it gets interesting. DoorDash offers these different plans, each with varying commission rates. So think of it like choosing between different levels of service. And as you might imagine, the higher the level, the higher the percentage cut the DoorDash is going to take.
Okay, so it's not like a one-size-fits-all situation. What kind of plans are we talking about?
So in 2024, DoorDash rolled out 3 main plans. You've got the basic plan, which comes in at a 15% commission. Then you've got the Plus plan at 25%, and then the Premier plan at a hefty 30% commission.
Whoa, 30%. That's a big decision to make, to opt into that top tier.
Exactly. And choosing your plan is about more than just the commission rate. It's about the level of marketing support, the visibility that you get. So the higher the plan, the more DoorDash is going to promote your restaurant on the app.
So it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
More exposure for a bigger slice of the pie.
Precisely. So going back to that $50 order, on the basic plan, DoorDash is taking a $7.50 commission, but jump up to the Premier plan and that balloons to $15.
Okay, so choosing your plan is step one, but I'm guessing those commissions are just the tip of the iceberg. What other fees are we talking about lurking below the surface?
Good catch. So next up, we have service fees. These are generally going to be either a flat fee per order or a percentage of the subtotal. Think of it as DoorDash's way to cover payment processing and maintaining the platform. Essentially, they're charging you rent for being on the app.
So even on top of that commission, there's more.
Unfortunately.
It's starting to feel a bit like those hidden resort fees.
You're not wrong. And then don't forget the optional marketing fees. Let's say you want to spice things up with some promotions or boost your visibility on the app with a flashy banner ad or something like that. Those come at an additional cost too.
It's all starting to add up.
Yeah.
So with these service fees, what kind of numbers are we actually talking about?
So while it varies, a very common example would be like a flat $3 service fee per order. Sometimes it's a percentage, maybe 3% of the subtotal. So for your hypothetical $50 order, tack on another $3 and suddenly...
Wait, hold on. Before you pull out the calculator, we can't forget about that commission fee. It's like a mathematical balancing act, isn't it? Restaurant owners really need to do their homework here.
Absolutely. Understanding this breakdown of these costs is going to be crucial for strategically pricing your menu, ensuring that you're not just breaking even after DoorDash takes their cut.
And that's before we even factor in the cost of the food itself.
You got it. There are a lot of moving pieces here, which is why we're diving deep today.
So far, for a $50 order, we're looking at anywhere from $7.50 to $15 in commission, plus a $3 service fee, and then maybe even more for marketing.
Yeah.
It's like trying to solve a word problem where the numbers keep changing.
And here's where it gets even trickier. Remember how we were talking about the different DoorDash plans?
Yeah.
Well, the plan you qualify for, and therefore the commission rate that they're going to offer you, it isn't always a level playing field.
Okay.
Your restaurant's location and order volume can actually impact what DoorDash offers you.
Hold on. So it's not even just about choosing a plan. It's about what they offer me.
Yeah.
Okay, that feels like a whole other layer of complexity.
It is. DoorDash knows that if you're a bustling restaurant in a prime location, you're a hot commodity.
Right.
They're less likely to budge on those commission rates because they know you're probably going to bring in more orders.
So if I'm a hidden gem tucked away in a quieter part of town, I might have some wiggle room to negotiate.
Exactly. You might have more leverage than you think. If DoorDash sees you're consistently churning out orders, even in a less busy area,
Yeah.
they might be more willing to work with you. It's all about proving your restaurant's earning potential.
That's good to know. Knowledge is power when it comes to these negotiations.
Absolutely. Speaking of negotiations, there's another factor that can influence those commission rates. Exclusive partnerships.
You mean when a restaurant goes all in with DoorDash, only offering delivery through their platform? I've seen a few restaurants in my neighborhood doing that.
Exactly. It's becoming increasingly popular, Restaurants are drawn to the allure of those lower commission rates and the promise of increased visibility on the app. It's kind of like getting that coveted top spot on the digital shelf.
But I imagine there are some trade-offs when you hand over the delivery reins entirely to DoorDash.
Of course. It's a classic risk versus reward scenario. When you go exclusive, you're putting all your delivery eggs in one basket. You're reliant on them, which means they have more control.
So if DoorDash decides to increase fees or change its policies down the line, those exclusive partners, they're kind of stuck.
That's the risk. Some restaurants are willing to gamble for the potential benefits, while others prefer to kind of hedge their bets and maintain their independence.
Yeah, it's a lot to weigh. This is quickly becoming the most intense game of restaurant chess I've ever played.
Right. And we haven't even brought up the other big player in this game yet. The choice between sticking with DoorDash or taking the leap and building your own in-house delivery system.
Ah, yes. The age-old question. To outsource or DIY? It's enough to make any restaurant owner crave a large order of fries and a side of antacids.
Right. There are definitely pros and cons to each approach. Where do we want to start?
Let's stick with DoorDash for a minute. We've talked about the costs, but what are the biggest advantages of going with a third-party platform like that?
Well, the most significant advantage is reach. DoorDash has spent years building a massive customer base. They've already done all the heavy lifting of creating that user-friendly app and marketing their platform to those hungry customers out there. For a restaurant owner, it's like you get to just tap into a pre-existing network of potential diners.
That's a huge draw, especially for new restaurants trying to get their name out there, build a loyal customer base.
Absolutely. And there's no initial investment required to get started with DoorDash. You don't have to hire drivers, buy delivery vehicles, develop your own online ordering system. They handle all the logistics, which can be a huge relief for busy owners.
So it's definitely the more convenient option, at least initially, but we know those conveniences come at a price. Those fees we meticulously dissected earlier.
Precisely. And, beyond the financial cost, you also give up a certain degree of control over the customer experience.
That's right. You're relying on DoorDash's drivers to represent your brand and deliver your food with the same care and quality that you would if you were doing it yourself.
Yeah.
It's like letting someone else handle the grand finale of your culinary performance.
Exactly. A bad delivery experience can reflect poorly on your restaurant, even if it's not directly your fault.
Right. Okay, so we've explored the DoorDash side of things. On the flip side, what are the advantages of assembling your own dream team of delivery drivers?
Control. That's the biggest perk of going in-house. You have complete control over the entire delivery process from the moment the order is placed to the moment it's hand-delivered to your customer.
So you can ensure the quality of the food, the accuracy of the orders, even the friendliness of the delivery drivers. It's like having a direct line to your customer's dining room.
You got it.
Yeah.
And there's the potential for cost savings in the long run. By cutting out that middleman, you get to keep a larger portion of each sale. However,
there's always a however. I'm starting to think that word should be printed on menus everywhere.
You're telling me in-house delivery isn't all sunshine and perfectly timed deliveries? There are significant upfront costs involved.
Right. You've got to hire and train drivers, potentially invest in vehicles, maybe even develop your own online ordering system. Suddenly, we're talking about a whole new set of expenses.
And let's not forget about the logistical hurdles of managing a fleet of drivers, especially during those peak hours. It's like conducting a symphony of deliveries, and even a slight miscue can throw off the entire rhythm.
This is all starting to make my head spin a little. DoorDash offers convenience and reach, but at the cost of fees and a certain loss of control.
Yeah.
In-house delivery gives you back that control and potentially higher profits, but it requires a much larger investment and more hands-on management.
Yeah.
So how does a restaurant owner, like our listener, how do they decide which path is the right fit for their business?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And to answer it, we need to dive into the nitty-gritty of menu pricing, explore some strategic planning options, and maybe even dust off the old crystal ball to see what trends are emerging in the world of food delivery.
It's a tough call. I imagine a lot of restaurant owners probably feel like they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, right?
Yeah.
Trying to find that sweet spot between convenience and control.
It is a balancing act for sure.
Eesh.
To kind of help make sense of it all, let's try to crunch some numbers, explore a few strategies here. So we've already talked about, the ins and outs of DoorDash fees, but what about the costs associated with running your own delivery operation? We're talking driver wages, insurance, vehicle upkeep. I mean, those expenses, those can add up quickly.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Building a delivery infrastructure from scratch, that's no small feat. It's like a whole other business venture tucked inside your existing restaurant.
You've got that right. And you've got to factor in labor costs, which of course vary depending on your location, the number of drivers you need. Then there's vehicle maintenance, insurance, potentially even the cost of purchasing delivery vehicles if you're not requiring drivers to use their own.
And let's not forget about the technology side of things. Like, if you don't already have a user-friendly online ordering system in place, well, that's another investment to consider.
Absolutely. And while we're on the topic of investments, remember that when you're competing with these giants like DoorDash, who have these enormous marketing budgets, you've got to be savvy about attracting customers to your own platform. It's a competitive landscape out there.
So how does a restaurant owner even begin to process all these factors? It's like trying to solve a culinary Rubik's Cube.
It can definitely feel overwhelming. A good place to start is by analyzing your current order volume and your average order value. So if you're a high-volume restaurant with a really steady stream of delivery orders, building an in-house delivery service might actually make sound financial sense in the long run. You'll be keeping a greater portion of each sale, and you'll have that opportunity to build those direct relationships with your customers.
But if you're a smaller restaurant and you're maybe just kind of dipping your toes into the delivery game, partnering with DoorDash initially might be the more manageable approach.
Potentially. It allows you to test the waters, tap into that existing customer base without the substantial upfront investment. But, and this is crucial, you need to be strategic about your menu pricing on these platforms. Keep a close eye on those fees.
Right, yeah. You don't want those DoorDash fees eating up all your hard-earned profits.
Exactly. One common strategy is to actually implement a slight price increase for items that are listed on DoorDash compared to your in-house menu. Even a small adjustment can really help offset those fees without deterring those customers.
Yeah, it's like a little pricing magic trick. And let's be honest, I think as customers, we often expect to pay a premium for the convenience of delivery.
Precisely. Another really effective strategy is to get creative with your menu offerings. Highlighting high-margin dishes, maybe creating some enticing bundled meals. This can encourage customers to spend a little bit extra, which helps absorb some of those DoorDash fees.
So it's all about finding those clever ways to kind of maximize your profits without compromising, the quality or the value that your customers have come to expect.
Now you're getting it. It's a delicate dance. But remember, you're not alone in this. There's strength in numbers. Imagine a future where restaurants band together and use their collective bargaining power to negotiate better deals with these third-party platforms.
It's like forming a culinary alliance.
There you go.
Restaurants joining forces, right? Advocating for fairer fees, more equitable partnerships. I mean, that's a game changer.
Right. If restaurants collectively demand lower commission rates or more favorable terms, it could significantly shift those power dynamics in the food delivery industry.
That's an inspiring thought. It'd be amazing to see restaurants really kind of unite and shape the future of this rapidly evolving industry.
Yeah, it's something to ponder for sure. The relationship between restaurants and these third-party delivery platforms is complex. It's constantly evolving. What works today might be outdated tomorrow.
So the key takeaway for our listener today: stay informed, stay adaptable, and don't be afraid to really explore all the options that are on the table.
Absolutely. Whether you choose to partner with DoorDash, build your own delivery service, or even find kind of a hybrid approach that blends the best of both worlds, the most important thing is to make informed decisions that align with your business goals and keep you ahead of the curve in this ever-changing world of digital dining.
Wise words. And on that note, I'm suddenly feeling quite hungry. Perhaps it's time we put our newfound knowledge to the test and order some takeout, though maybe we'll skip the delivery fee this time, opt for pickup.
Sounds like a plan.